The regular Hin Collider, LHC, worked through CERN. It is a 17M ring of superconducting magnets. Also, the world's greatest and generally powerful iota smasher, it addresses the apex of human sensible achievement. The truth be trains serious areas of strength for it, the point that it would be able to replicate the actual conditions of the universe's appearance to the area, yet, should this machine expect it to open the priv-ved experiences of the universe, keep up with the way to something obviously more adverse. CERN, introduced in 1954, is one of the global's most regarded examinations relationship, with 23-part states and tremendous quantities of specialists. It's a middle for facilitated endeavor and improvement. The LHC is CERN's lead undertaking, yet it is just a single part of a very decent partnership of fuel pedals and tests. Imagine a circuit, however not so much for vehicles or on the other hand this tune is for subatomic garbage, a check of ability and determination in region. On the LHC, speeds up protons to almost the speed of gentle, sending them on a crash heading that mimics the strength of the universe at the season of the Great Sea's explosion. The effects make temperatures on numerous occasions more noteworthy steamy than the center of the sun-powered. Colossal quantities of magnets guide the protons on their journey, while diverse cooling systems keep the magnets at temperatures colder than region. The bars inside the LHC are made to crash at 4 locales around the gas pedal ring with respect to spots of 4 particle locators: Chartbook, CMS, ALICE, and LHCb. Each fills an extraordinary need, researching different pieces of atom fabric science. On the whole, they move about as beast cameras, getting portrayals of those analysts then, at that point, at that component sift by means of the trash, searching for signs of the tricky Higgs boson, also called the God molecule, and interesting characteristics tips to the universe's key shape blocks through taking into account the microcosm. We advantage bits of knowledge into the area, yet with each answer comes each other request, and with every disclosure another test. The LHC isn't positively a 100% of the time coherent instrument. It is a sign of human interest and improvement. It embodies our chosen journey for data and our yearning to decide out the significant powers that shape our universe. Yet, as we push the limits of what we understand, we need to, in like manner, remember the moral and existential questions that arise in the blessed passageways of CERN, wherein the constraints of human understanding are persistently pushed. An exposure has emerged that sends a scream down the spine of even the greatest coordinated specialists. Brian Cox, a past expert at CERN and a voice of expert in the domain of particle material science, has as of past due made a report that has left the world both spellbound and unfortunate. Cox's phrases resonate with torturing clarity. The objective of CERN's gigantic Ron Collider is to raise a more modest than anticipated broad explosion. Yes, you heard that right, a minuscule variant of the very occasion that conveyed forward our universe. The physicist additionally gave to cause to feel of the implications of this goal, featuring the LHC's fabulous limit with regards to making new disclosures. This incorporates its capacity to open the secrets of the Higgs boson and the examination of dim count, a confounding substance that makes up a fundamental piece of the universe. Think that holding the power of coming in your grip, the capacity to summon the genuine substance of the universe. It is an intriguing prospect, yet one loaded with danger. The tiny, enormous blast isn't in any way a theoretical thought. It's a good-sized reality interior the LHC. The temperatures, the pressures, the rough power all duplicate the events of the universe's initial tiers. It is like last on the earliest long periods of written history, seeing the approach of presence itself. However, with such energy comes danger, and the question represents the capacity. Imagine a situation in which something ends up being terrible, as an issue of truth, something went horrendously misguided. Back in 1978, the Russian physicist Anat Borsky experienced a fiasco that would everlastingly control the course of his life. In 1978, Borsky became managing with the U-70 synchrotron on the laid-out request for unnecessary power substantial innovation in Poo, Russia. A misfire incited his head, incidentally coming into the immediate method of a proton bar. The bar, with a strain that challenges conviction, passed through his skull, entering the back of his head and leaving through his nose. Borsky's experience transformed into super. He took note a gleam more brilliant than 1,000 suns, yet had not a care in the world. The bar's way prompted a course of annihilation consuming through tissue and bone, yet he remained insightful and incredibly walked around the capacity for cure. The eventual outcomes turn out to be each superb and invigorating. The bar's way welcomed on restricted tissue passing on, provoking tissue demise, prompting the lack of hearing in one ear and deficient facial absence of movement. Yet, amazingly, Borsky's insightful abilities stayed in one piece, and he continued along with his consistent business. This episode isn't absolutely an individual setback, yet a useful occurrence that features the enormous strength and conceivably danger of particle gas pedals. The risks of a molecule smasher like the LHC are not to be fooled with, the potential for unexpected responses, the very surface of truth being controlled. These are not the stuff of mechanical skill fiction, yet genuine worries voiced by a not many laid-out analysts. The universe's secrets are spotless toys as well as contraptions of critical strength. One of the most upsetting and hypnotizing concerns related with the LHC's checks is the danger of making a minuscule dim empty. Dim openings are local people of spacetime where gravity is strong to such a degree that not even gentle can escape from. They are vainglorious vacuum cleaners, the devourers of stars, the puzzling substances that sneak in the shadows of our universe. That the LHC might need to make such a component, even on a minuscule scope, is staggering for the generally populace and specialists. May this dim opening eventually grow, wildly swallowing the Earth from inside. However, specialists at CERN have guaranteed that any darkish initiating made could be fickle and disappear nearly at the present time. The slim possibility has lit conversations, fears, and a feeling of wonderment on the power we utilize. It is essential to fathom how the LHC should make a dim opening. It needs to do with the preeminent mechanics of atom gas pedals. When protons are beaten by and large at almost the speed of light, the energy conveyed is monster to such a degree that it bends the surface of spacetime itself. Imagine a trampoline drawn out and adaptable, and then a gigantic weight dropped onto it. The surface turns, twists, and assuming the weight is profound enough, it is capable to make a melancholy so significant that something nearby could be added into it. That might be a fast-located moral story for what ought to happen inside the LHC in the realm of quantum physical mechanical expertise. Where the ideas of the universe are each strange and spectacular, there exists a theory that more noteworthy variables may be covered in, or our reality. If these elements exist, the LHC's accidents ought to take gain of them, making a gravitational channel that structures a minute darkish opening. This bewildering dance of flotsam and jetsam has even gotten the notice of some global notable scientists, explicitly the late Stephen Selling. In his digital book, he suggested of a situation where the Higgs boat ought to wind up shaky at very over-the-top strength. This flimsiness ought to ignite off a grievous vacuum decay, a respectable event that wouldn't just destroy the Earth, however, the total universe itself. The recognized English cosmologist and astrophysicist Sir Martin Ree imparted his interests around the CCKs driven at CERN in his book On What's to Return: Opportunities for Humankind. He explored the potential dangers associated with atom smasher tests, comprising of those at CERN. His expressions had been not genuinely safeguard. They had been contacted with a feeling of existential dread. He referenced a most extreme, extraordinarily awful case condition of issues in which a tragic exploration should make a condition alluded to as vacuum instability. This insecurity should in statute enact a phase improvement that could wave through the genuine surface of spacetime. The outcome, a huge disaster that would burden the whole universe. Ree's concerns were no longer controlled to speculative bits of knowledge. He given out a probability to these unfortunate outcomes, yet a low one. Anyway, even a microscopic opportunity, he battled, should offer us amazing chance to forestall and assume the stakes are incomprehensibly extreme, and the limit for goof is razor thin. The analysts at CERN have decided the possibilities, run the reenactments, and reviewed the speculation to contend for the appropriately being of the LHC. Indeed, Brian Cox himself analyzed the significance of that as what solid research seeing. There are vast feelings of fear and circumstance surrounding the hobby of the LHC. However, he focused on that there are careful, pleasantly being measures set up, huge reviews, furthermore, protocols that guarantee the LHC's tasks are driven with the capacity tender loving care. Cox comforted that the energies covered are well inside what the Earth clearly reports, and the chances of making a normal darkish opening are astronomically low. Whether or not one were made, analysts say it would be pretty much nothing, thus unsteady that it may evaporate immediately of force, an eccentricity anticipated by means of Stephen Selling alluded to as peddling radiation. It would be a speedy picture of endless shock, a brief investigate the void, and a while later gone. Some have gone correspondingly guessing that the LHC's preliminaries could open a gateway to another universe or viewpoint. This thought, however generally pardoned via laid-out specialists, has gotten the imaginative brain of various and has transformed into a circumstance of side interest, fear, or even legends. What lies past our reality? Could we sooner or then again later by chance send off powers or materials that we don't understand? The idea of opening and access to condemnation has even been sensationalized in novel media, fanning the hearth of weakness. Yet, how did this idea arise, and what is the significance here inside the setting of consistent research? The idea of equivalent elements is not new in texture innovation. String hypothesis, an excellent option for a bound-together hypothesis of the entirety thing, sets that there may be more than the noticeable 3 parts of region and certainly one of time. These more angles might be compactified or stashed far away from our insight, yet they could theoretically be gotten to or, on the other hand, anyway uncovered under preposterous conditions. Now imagine the LHC as in gigantic key starting entryways which have been sealed beginning from the very starting. While proton-influenced energies up till as of late not the slightest bit achieved on Earth, they could in standard cause disturbances or tears in the surface of spacetime. These stages ought to open pathways to angles beyond our very own, like breaks in a boundless wall that isolates us from the obscure. The results could resemble assuming you were to drop a stone into a thoroughly peaceful lake. The effect causes enlarges disturbances that spread out associating with all that they contact. Regarding the matter of the LHC, those waves can be aggravations inside the perspectives themselves, waves that unfurl out into space names we can't see or value. Researchers at CERN race to bring up that the energies expected to make such a door are logical along techniques past what the LHC can achieve. Laying out a way to some other thing remains immovably inside the space of science fiction. However, the very truth that we will think about such likely impacts, that we can find the restrictions of our expertise and friend into the abyss of the obscure, is an outline of the strength of human curiosity and creativity. For the researchers at CERN, it ought to go about as a peaceful reprobation that a couple of entryways once opened may also find bits of knowledge we are not prepared to confront. The LHC's checks have as of now not simply raised coherent and philosophical requests anyway crime also, moral ones too. The actual demonstration of repeating the conditions of the universe's start, of going into the early stage soup of ways of life and blending it with our innovative spoons has lighted discussions that go past the limits of innovative skill. Are we playing God? Are we stepping on holy floor, slowing down drives that were when the sole region of the universe? These are scientific inquiries as well as profoundly upsetting solicitations that endeavor our very information on morals and obligation. The making of a miniature dark opening, for occurrence, isn't really a logical interest yet a Pandora's container. Imagine a whirlpool sucking all that into its inescapable encapsulate. However, for a monstrous scope, a few jail scientists and ethicists have bewildered whether humankind has the legitimate to face such dangers even inside the quest for understanding. Claims had been documented seeking to for all the LHC's tests, referring to worries roughly security and the limit for annihilating outcomes. The discussions rage on at this point not just in that frame of mind in the corridors of the scholarly community in the media and round dinner tables. In 2008, a proclaim became kept in Hawaii by means of Walter Wagner and Sancho who attempted to end the LHC's exercises. They contended that the collider might need to produce planet-gobbling-up dark openings or in no way, shape, or form be seen quirks that could harm no longer just the Earth however the entirety universe. The proclaim mentioned a transient limiting request in resistance to C, contending that the boss had not noted to give an ecological impact statement as expected by S guideline. However, the case changed into excused. It lighted a firestorm of discussion and brought the LHC's genuine usefulness into sharp discernment across the Atlantic in Germany. A teacher named Otto Rossler recorded a protest with the ECU Court Agenda of Common Liberties, asserting that the LHC violated the right to existence guaranteed by means of the EU Show on Human Privileges. Roser's worries had been established inside the trepidation that the LHC could have the capacity to make minuscule dark holes that would grow wildly. However, each claim had been fruitless. They shaped a piece of a more extensive movement of subject what's more, distrust surrounding the LHC. They examined a profoundly imbued pressure about the obscure, a concern that our journey for understanding could lead us down a way from which there's no return. CERN was shaped inside the shadowed repercussions of the second extraordinary fight, while the field turned out to be as yet recovering and the resonations of annihilation have been an eerie indication of human indiscretion. It was a period while the very structure holding the cosmic system together became destroyed, and from that disorder, a gathering of visionary researchers hoped against hope. They expected of a region wherein the limits of countries would disintegrate, wherein the quest for data would be an encouraging sign. They imagined a lab, a cauldron wherein the mystery of the universe can be investigated, wherein the privileged insights of presence may be opened. Thus, CERN transformed into imagined as a posterity of war and information, an image of what mankind should accomplish while moved by means of interest instead of contention.